Congresswoman Ilhan Omar took a big step toward securing her fourth consecutive term representing Minnesota's 5th congressional district after defeating former Minneapolis City Councilor Don Samuels in last night's Democratic primary. Many saw Samuels as her biggest challenge because of his experience and because the district, which includes Minneapolis, has been a Democratic stronghold for decades. But her next opponent, a Republican newcomer, is adamant that she can win come November. Jennifer Hoff is the first local reporter to interview her about her plans to move forward. Hi, Jennifer.
Kent, her name is Dalia Al-Akidi, and she says she is running as a moderate with a goal to unite everyone, unlike Omar, she says, whose comments can over the years face scrutiny and criticism, and have, really. Except Al-Akidi has no elected experience, and experts will tell you that means a candidate doesn't usually stand a chance when it comes to an election. But that is now changing.
We did it, everyone!
Representative Ilhan Omar thanking her supporters last night after winning the Democratic primary against former Minneapolis City Councilor Don Samuels. She only narrowly beat 2 years ago.
I am incredibly honored by this victory tonight.
The victory setting the stage now for a race versus Republican Dalia Al-Akidi in November.
I've always wanted to make a difference in everywhere I go.
Al-Akidi is a longtime journalist fleeing Iraq 30 years ago and later becoming an American citizen, resolved to run for office late last year after Omar's sharp criticism of how Israel is conducting the war in Gaza.
This means a lot to me, and I've spent all my life fighting against these regimes and fighting against these ideologies.
Why should someone vote for you?
I know how crucial it is for any politician to reach out across party lines, to unite people, and that's my plan. I made it very clear that I'm a moderate Republican, willing to work with moderate Democrats and independents. We need to unite to save our city, our district, and our country.
The district includes Minneapolis and some suburbs, but hasn't been Republican-controlled in nearly 65 years.
Maybe it's about time to have new blood in both parties. So I think it's a good thing.
Al-Akidi doesn't have elected experience, except new political data shows there's a recent trend of not only more amateur candidates, but voters willing to back them.
It reflects this intense energy among anti-establishment populists.
University of Minnesota political scientist Larry Jacobs points to Royce White, a former pro basketball player from Minneapolis, now vying for a Senate seat, and Steve Boyd, a small businessman who still got 35% of yesterday's vote against staunch Republican Michelle Fischbach in the state's largest and most red district.
If you want an example of kind of grassroots democracy, this is what it looks like, and it doesn't always, conclude in victory and victorious speeches and parades.
From some voters feeling left behind to others frustrated with the status quo, there's a growing influence in grooming new candidates. And for those like Al-Akidi, who want to change the game.
Together we can win, and together we can have a safe future for our kids.
Jacobs, who you heard from there, also points to our Constitution and how it is deliberately designed to make some of these changes to the system pretty slowly and hard, with checkpoints all along the way. But that this new trend should also be considered what he calls really a safety measure in our democracy, that if you don't like how things are going, you can always step in and try to run. Kent?
Yeah, and that's a fascinating study, Jennifer, just to be clear, and it's not just happening here in Minnesota.
Certainly not an outlier. Maybe decades ago, in that study, they found an example dating all the way back to 2014 when there was an inexperienced candidate who was likely one of the first to ever win an election. In several years to follow, about 70% of the incumbents would win, the experienced ones at that. Now, that study found there's a complete reversal all across the country where these inexperienced candidates are winning a lot of elections.
Oh, fascinating. Thanks a lot.